Tell you what, it's heating up in Charleston.
It is heating up in Charleston. I didn't expect us to get back here. I thought maybe a couple people were maturing. Nope.
No,
No.
we have detoured.
We're detoured. I was gonna say regressing, but yeah, detoured.
As there's a
Detoured.
drive in a deep left field by Castellanos. It will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody. For whoever wants to listen, I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only South Carolina Goots. What's up, dude?
This was one of the first episodes in a while that I've watched everybody just kind of have fun, get a little drunk, and I was cackling. I mean, I was having a great time watching this. It's gotten to the point, I think, with Southern Charm where we finally understand what to expect from everybody. It was kind of haywire there for a little while where we're like, no, Craig, come on, you're not doing this, are you? No, he's definitely doing it. So now we're entering into the realm of just making fun of Craig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we live.
we've gotten. It's not our fault that we've gotten there. We've watched him. He led the way. We just followed the path. I think we've reached a point where, just to build on what you were saying, early on, we're like, okay, is this really who Craig is now? And now we're at a point where it's like, oh, this is quite clearly new Craig, which is a weird, somehow worse blend of old Craig and new Craig has produced this Craig, which is,
It's like the Terminator 3.0.
yeah, but like dumb or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good way to put it. It doesn't make any sense. I don't even know if he's coming from like, is he doing the thing where he thinks he's smarter than everybody? So he's like, hey, let me tell you something. I guess now he's John Bernthal. Hey, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something real quick. Just because you hang out with somebody for a month straight every single day in your hot tub doesn't mean you're friends. What are we doing here?
Dude, the literalness of everything, where he has to explain to other people pretty much what it means to be a human being. It's like, that's not what it is. It's this. It's like everything you're saying is so matter of fact that it simply cannot be true because
Yeah.
you're blanket statementing 5 different people with one thing. It doesn't make any sense. And he's so steadfast. It's like he went through this healing journey, if you're watching Salt Lake, and came out the other side a better person. And then in going through all this shit with Paige, he took all the lessons he learned and is applying them to situations that, yes, yeah, he's found a way
He
to
found the inverse property of what he learned from Paige.
somehow, and he's using that against the people closest to him. It's bizarre, and he can have no faults. Craig, in Craig's mind, is infallible in every way, shape, and form. Nobody can criticize, nobody can question, and when he does, he throws a hissy fit, leaves, and explains to the camera or at a confessional about why he's 100% correct and why they're 100% wrong, and then he tells them how to be a human being. It's fucking nuts, bro. It's gone insane.
It has. And I do think that there's more, and as we get down there, when we get to boys' night out, girls' night out, there's definitely more there for Austin, but it was some questionable actions going on over there. I don't know what the hell's going on, but
With Austin?
yeah. There's something going on there with Sally, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a little weird.
Leaning a little too, he's getting a little too comfortable.
Get a little too cozy. But when Craig hears something like that, no matter what it is, if it's anything that somebody who's currently opposing him has done or said,
Posing.
dude, there's always somebody opposing Craig.
I know.
That's how he lives,
That's
by
my
the
point.
way.
It's
That's why he can never be happy. Is he always feels like he's got ops.
I know, but like you're not a superhero with like a litany of villains after you. But he makes them in his own mind. He like has to have a nemesis or else he can't function.
Yeah, and you just said too. It's almost like he's applying the inverse property from what he learned from
That's what it
Paige.
feels like.
He's like a superhero that's using his superpowers for villainous activity.
Super dick.
Yeah, super asshole. Ew.
Super hole.
So, whoa, there's a step further. But yeah, it's so weird, and I do think just kind of like an overarching thing. We need more Rodrigo.
I agree.
Absolutely. We got a Levis sighting in this episode, which was nice to see. She looked great. She always tries to like interject a little bit, and she's found such a good spot. I don't know. I know she was in like a weird place with the producers. They got new producers. So I guess she can just kind of pop up and pop around. She's still friends with most of them.
Most of
So
them.
I guess it works out. But I was surprised to see her because it's now episode 7 and we hadn't seen her so far.
Did we see her at all last year?
Yeah, we saw her once.
And then at the reunion briefly, wasn't she there?
Was she at the reunion last
Is that
year?
the weird sit-down one where it looked different?
Yeah. I think it
she,
was.
She bopped into that for a little while.
She did, yeah. And I don't think she should be at the reunion, but she's fine to be a friend of. Like, if Whitney's not going to be at the reunion, Levis shouldn't be there.
Agreed.
That's kind of how I feel about that. But I do think that you have such a good cast of characters, even the people that we completely disagree with and their behavior is just wild. You need them.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have a good cast, and this is the type of show where you can have 16 people just kind of mixing in and out and having different scenes together. A couple of them can go on a road trip, and we don't see them for a couple of weeks. They come back and they're like, hey, what did I miss? Well, a lot. That's what's going to happen. So this was such a funny episode. It seemed like everybody just kind of got back to their roots. Shep was missing, but you know what? I think Shep
He's
just
in
needs,
Cuba.
Yeah, he needs some time off. He needs some time away. He's too mixed up in all of this. And he hasn't really done anything, but he's still somehow in the center of it. Just, go to Cuba, come back, everybody's going to forget what you did.
He just needs some separation.
Yeah, a little R&R.
Yeah, that's good for everybody. But let's jump into this episode, and we start out with it's almost foreshadowing. It's almost like they knew. We start out with Sally and Charley in this fucking chicken coop.
Oh my God.
I will say this.
That wasn't Charlie.
Oh, sorry. No, Charlie's in a scene. It's a juxtaposed scene. Charlie is actually at the gallery. You got Sally with, who is this?
I don't remember her friend's name, but it was just
It's
one
Sally's
of her friends.
friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Sally's friend, and they're setting up this goddamn chicken coop. And I will say this episode has made me Team Sally. I'm Team Sally. It makes a lot more sense when she's talking with Madison. You get a full scope of everything. So slightly poo-poo on the producers for painting her the way they did, because in one episode they clear everything up with her conversations. I'm like, oh, okay, I understand where you're at.
Yeah, it makes way more sense. It almost just what happened in this episode almost pushes us to like Team Sally for life.
Yeah, honestly.
It's like, oh, you were getting that kind of edit?
Yeah.
And like, look, she said a lot of weird
She
things.
didn't help herself.
No, but she's by far from the first girl on this show or any of the Bravo shows to just kind of weirdly go head over heels with a guy that's not interested in her.
Right.
And fall for that kind of tactic.
We've
So
seen it from the
it's
guy's
not-
side too. We've watched guys fawn over.
We
and-
watched Shep talk about what's her name's Freckles
Freckled
last year.
lips,
So
yeah.
I mean, this isn't weird.
No, and like it does highlight, okay, you kind of got hosed with the edit. Doesn't mean the episodes weren't entertaining, but I'm glad that they cleared things up this episode. Anyway, in this moment, she's setting up the chicken coop. And immediately the tone shifts because she says, I'm ready for a serious relationship. Now, that implies a lot of things. One, it shows you where she's at in her life. Two, we remember that she was previously engaged and that fell through. And three, it makes a lot more sense what this whole obsession with Craig is, especially who Craig is, and not so much him as Craig, but what he embodies. And from him, he wants to settle down, he wants to have a partner, and that's what he wants in life, according to Craig. Now, what he's doing currently does not scream that at all. But that is the image that Craig has made for himself, especially in Charleston with the sewing down south and everything. He literally is the embodiment of like stable relationship. Self-proclaimed. I cannot stress that enough, especially with what we see later, but it makes sense now. Now I'm like, okay, so this was, a little nuts. You got a little too far into this a little too quickly. But this is because you saw potentially somebody that wants the same things as you at the same rate.
Yeah, and you had been in his hot tub for a month, and you thought maybe I can only imagine what kind of mental gymnastics Sally was doing while being over there, and he's like not making a move. She wants him to make a move, and maybe she's just not like an authoritative person that's gonna make that move, and she's like, hey, you should be doing something. But maybe
she's
if I hang out long enough, it'll work. I still like you, and I enjoy hanging out with you. Craig took that as friendship, which is complete and utter bullshit.
No, he didn't.
And we'll get to that a little bit later. But for Sally, one, as long as you're going to give those chickens a good home, that's all I care about. Please don't do the thing where you walk outside, you see the chickens, you think of Craig, and you're like, ugh. Like, at least rehome them if you don't want to deal with the chickens. If this was all just to get Craig's attention, get him to go shopping for chickens with you, maybe come over to your house, help set up the coop. I mean, at least he wasn't there to begin with. She's doing it with a friend.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
Not really, though, because on the other side, Charley and Craig are hanging out as the chicken coops, like literally as
At
they're
that
doing
moment,
it.
yeah. I like when they do that.
Yeah, I do too, but I felt really bad.
Yeah, I felt bad for Sally.
Yeah.
I think that this might be, now that we have the full story and we have the full scope of the situation and we've actually gotten somewhat of a coherent thought or message from Sally about what's going on, it's like, oh, okay. This isn't just like, I just want to hook up with Craig. Like, he's rich, he's got a nice house, like he's pretty set up. We'll just see where it goes.
That's what
I don't
production
really care.
made it seem like.
Production made it seem like she was just casting away her friendships. She didn't give a shit. She's not a girl's girl, even though Levis still says that a little bit later. And maybe she's not. I don't really care. It's not nearly as drastic as it seemed.
No.
Especially the way that things played out with Venita later this episode. So, I don't know. We don't know what apology for Sally. Like, I'm not going to apologize to her because there was some weird erratic behavior in there and you kind of found yourself in this situation. But once it got to the point of, I am going to figure this out for myself and I'm either going to enjoy it or it's going to be soul crushing, you're here and you're owning that. So that's all we can ask.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, at this current moment, Craig is at the gallery and asks Charley on a date. It can only be labeled as a date. I know you crazy kids with your wacky labels.
Nah, this is weird.
This is a fucking date. You're asking her one-on-one for a day on the water. The way you say it was fucking weird because he's like, just be me and you on the water, oysters. I like Charley a lot, and I like that she makes fun of him for. She's like, oh yeah, just me and you. Like, what? What's the matter with you? So that's the setup. Which again, this whole thing is foreshadowing. I will give production credit as far as like not for the Sally edit because that was kind of mean. They've done a good job this season of telling the stories. I think it's a good chronological.
Yeah, we have all the information that we need. It just wasn't quite in the right order.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd and skewed. But the weird thing about Craig, watching him even operate with Charley, it gives me an idea. I think this is what he's talking himself into. And at this point, I don't really give a shit. I'm just going to act like I'm Craig for a second here. You didn't make a move on Sally because you're a bit of a coward.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do it. And look, maybe you're just reeling from the Paige relationship, but clearly not because you're jumping right into Charley.
Yeah.
Figuratively. Whoops. But I think you were probably too much of a coward to jump in with Sally. It went on for too long. You got really self-conscious about it. And then Charley showed up and it's like, oh, cool. I haven't done anything with Sally yet. It's almost like this is kismet. It's almost like this is perfect timing. Like, if I had hooked up with Sally and then Charley came around, I'd feel weird about this. Probably wouldn't, but we'll never know. And now he's looking at it like, thank God I didn't do anything with Sally. Maybe this will just go away and we can just be friends. That's what he's hoping, and then he can just move in with Charley. But he knows deep down, and the way that you're operating, you're not talking to Charley at your Memorial Day party about going out sometime. You're showing interest, you're flirting, but you're still flirting with Sally. You're still weighing your options to see. And if Charley wasn't showing interest in you, then you could just fall back on Sally. We know what you're doing, but I know also how you're going to paint it to the rest of the cast, to, the general public that's watching this. Yeah. You're going to spin it like, well, I never really had interest in Sally to begin with. It was just fun hanging out with her. We never hooked up. You didn't hook up because you're a pussy. That's why you didn't hook up.
Yep.
And you couldn't bite the bullet.
Yep.
And I get that.
And
maybe,
then you blame her.
Yeah. And yeah.
Like, here's the thing, guys, because I've looked at socials today. Okay. And I'm not getting into the Craig stuff yet. We're going to save that for when it starts to pop off so there's more context. But here's the thing. When it comes to this kind of stuff, this is our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
This is where we get to step up and speak out because we know exactly what Craig Word is doing to the T. I've seen dudes do this. I know dudes that still do this. And just because they didn't hook up, that was still 100% a fuckboy move. And I'll tell you exactly why in about 10 to 15. So you guys buckle up and I'll explain to you how that kind of fuckboy operates because that's a power thing and it's kind of weird and gross. But we'll get there. We will get there. Anyway, Madison unpacking the house. Not before Sally says, am I going to regret getting these chickens?
I wish she didn't say that.
Yeah, please don't.
Now I'm starting to feel bad for the chicken.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think this is going to be like an important moment in her life where she really focuses on herself and the chickens are going to be a big part of that.
Mhm.
And then she's going to have so much to
Nurturing.
offer the next person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good nurturing phase for her.
And we kind of see that too when she goes to the ultrasound with Madison.
That was
She
when I
wants to be
completely
a mom.
flipped. I'm like fully Team Sally. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus, I'm such a dick for misreading this whole thing.
Yeah, honestly, and we really just thought that she was fucking around with no regard for
Yeah,
anybody else.
no,
And in
nope.
reality, it's like, oh, I see something here. He seems like a stable person. He wants to be in a relationship. I want to be in a relationship. This is working. It wasn't working, but she didn't see it
Because
And
Craig's a dick.
yeah, and also the other layer to this is the conversation that they showed with Venita and Sally last week. If a friend is sitting there trying to tell you what to do in your love life, you're almost always going to say, fuck you, I'm going to figure this out for myself. It's how you handle it afterwards.
Correct.
And Sally seems to be handling it fine. Venita, on the other hand, not so good.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah,
too,
but-
like, just to comment on it quickly, her getting smoked by Craig is enough,
Mhm.
right? You do not have to have the I told you so moment.
No.
Craig did it for you.
A real friend wouldn't want the I told you so
No.
moment. It would just be a, all right, yeah, I knew this was going to happen, but like,
Come in,
come on in. Bring it on in.
Come on
Tell
into
us everything.
Popular.
You want to talk shit? You want to go egg his house? Let's go egg his house. Let's
That's
go
what a
figure
friend
this one out.
does.
That's what a friend does,
Correct.
not what happens later. But either way, I feel bad for Sally. So maybe this is going to be a chicken nurturing moment. It's going to bring her closer to that homestead life that she wants.
Yeah,
She did
dude.
say that she wanted chickens regardless. I
Yeah,
still
she said that when Craig brought him up, but that doesn't matter.
She wanted animals. She did one farm. Yeah, you got to start somewhere, you know? I don't know.
No, but we're Team Sally all the way. But Madison's unpacking her house, and you got the professional organizers over there. And this scene just sets up the Sally theme later. The Sally scene later.
She's selling
because-
seashell. Oh, I can't do it.
There you
Damn
go.
it.
Yeah, karma, bitch. No, but what this actually did, I didn't know that Madison and Sally were that close. I knew they hung out sometimes, but later Sally even says she's kind of like a big sister to her. I wasn't aware that they were that tight.
No, there were a lot of scenes last year where the two of them were hanging out, but I do think that Madison has really just stepped into that role.
Maternal role.
She's got that maternal role. She's got that Cameron role from the beginning of Southern Charm, where she just kind of operates where everybody likes her.
Yeah.
And she tends to like everybody, and she's going to hear everybody out. She still has that shady side where she's going to spill some tea here and there because she feels like they're not doing it fast enough, which is also fine. Keeps the storyline moving, keeps the show moving, and that's what we want. So for Madison to sit here and just kind of pick it out, and she knows what's going on. She understands. She's probably already talked to Venita about what's going on with Sally. She's got her ear to the ground. She understands it's kind of coming to a head probably, or at least sooner rather than later. Let me go see what Sally's up to. And as we know, Brett's out of town anyway. So she does want to go with somebody. So why not pick Sally?
Yeah, no, I like the move. I wasn't aware that it was that, because that's somebody you're close with if you're going to look
Right.
at their baby inside of you.
Yeah.
So,
What's that?
no, I said what I said. Go look at your baby inside of you. That's what they're
Side of
doing.
you.
Oh, wow. Wow, what a fall from grace that guy
Oh,
had.
boy.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's go to Whitner and Austin at the bar. And Austin he's completed the transformation. He's a full cat person now. And you can tell because he talked about the dog so that Whitner would talk about, so he could say that I'm a cat person,
Yeah.
which is fine. And he shows the cats and he's like, oh, don't get me started, blah, blah, blah. It was actually kind of cute. But anyway, this is about Craig. And Whitner's asking, like, how's everything going? It's like, well, we had that sit down the other day. That went okay, but every apology ended with an I'm sorry. But I can't get a read on Whitner. I thought I could.
I think I have a read on him.
He wants to be Craig's buddy.
No, I don't think he wants to be Craig's buddy. I think he wants to be everybody's buddy. And I think he's trying to feel it out because I do.
Misreading it, though.
I see him on socials. He seems like a great guy. I think he is a good dude.
Okay, good. 'Cause I like Whitner.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing both sides of the fence here.
Okay.
I really don't. And what he does is by talking to Austin about this without Craig, by talking to Craig prior to Patricia's party with just Craig without Austin, he's getting a good perspective. And he's doing the yes man bullshit. But I think that's just more of like a get it all out. Like I want to hear your actual thoughts. So I'm going to agree with you the whole time so that you keep going. Not in like a malicious way, but he's just trying to kind of get the lay of the land because he doesn't really know the ins and outs of Austin and Craig's relationship
Right,
and their
that-
friendship.
yes.
So I think he's trying to have both of them just tell the whole story, tell me everything that you feel. And I think he's perceptive enough to move forward with that. Like, okay, I hear what Austin's saying, I hear what Craig's saying. And he goes from this conversation to, boys' night later, where he doesn't divulge the information that Austin told him. Like Austin,
God.
the tone of what Austin was saying was exactly that There's a lot of conversations. There's a lot of apologies, and there's a lot of butts in the middle of it. And, I just can't keep doing this song and dance with Craig, so I'm going to take it one step at a time. When he talks to Craig later, he's like, yeah, I heard that you and Austin spoke, and, like, it seems like you guys kind of cleared the air.
That's a good point.
And Craig immediately just jumps at it. Like, yeah, everything's good. Like, me and Austin are great, which, changes
Calm
things.
down.
But he doesn't tell him, like, dude, the tone was weird. Like, Austin's not fully bought in because that's not his place. So if he had jumped the gun on that, I would have had what you just said. He wants to be buddies with Craig.
Okay.
I think he's just trying to assess the situation.
Maybe I'm just a little sensitive to, like,
He's a
like,
newbie.
He's got the victim complex. I was like, what?
Yeah. I think the weird thing about Whitner that I'm like, you do need to get over this is your fiance leaving you. Like 4 years ago,
Yeah.
you got to get over it.
Yeah.
Bud.
No, I'm not even saying, like, there's no timeline, but don't project it.
Right.
Stop projecting.
Yeah.
Whitner.
Nah, get over it. Move on, buddy. You've got a great life. You've got a great dog. You bike to work.
You do bike to
You're
work.
a catch. Go get out there in the dating pool.
But it is nice that Austin has another friend that's not Craig. And I do like that Whitner said, because Austin can talk to me without feeling like he's being lectured. So Whitner, I guess you're right. He does. The victim thing, I was like, whoa. But I guess you're right. He also calls Craig a narcissist or has narcissistic tendencies. So I guess he is getting a decent read because Austin, that's the thing though. It's not victim complex if you are a victim because I do see that he's gotten burnt by Craig. I don't know if there's any other way to look at it.
They've burnt each other. I mean, if
Sure.
we're really doing like
Well, I'm
old
playing
history
recency
here,
bias then.
yeah, if we're just doing this season, it's hard to be on Craig's side and be like, Austin's being a huge dick.
Yeah.
He's making offhanded comments here and there because he's annoyed by Craig.
Yeah.
That's really all. And that's been going on, by the way, for like 6 years. So
Right.
It's not really much different than what we've seen, and he's not going overboard. Craig is going overboard.
Thank you. I agree. Now we get to quite the crew here. We have Venita, Leva, Rod, and Molly, which I love this duo.
Yeah.
Double duo.
Mhm.
I was going to say foursome, and then it felt weird.
No, foursome works.
Okay.
It's like a golf thing.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
You got this foursome. It's a great crew. And now, of course, the Sally Craig situation comes up, and there used to be a little workout crew. Rod tapped out because he got lazy. That's his words, not mine. Molly's still going, and Sally was going, and then she stopped going. And the reason is because those late nights at Craig's.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's when Leva chimes in that Sally's not a quote-unquote girl's girl and never was a quote-unquote girl's girl. That's fine. And I don't know that not being a girl's girl means you're a bad person. Maybe she just doesn't like vibe that way with the ladies. I don't really know. I don't think we've seen enough of Sally yet to make that decision.
No, but I mean, Charleston being as small as it is, I do think she's probably still paying for her quote unquote sins from years ago.
Probably.
I mean, we know her from Joe Bradley. We know her from Shep. Like, she's made her way around dating or hooking up with random guys in Charleston that they all know. So I'm not really bashing Leva's assessment of that. It's just we're watching her confessionals. We're seeing her inner monologue. She's talking about moving forward, trying to settle down, what she really wants in life. And I feel like she's not as open about those things with these other women who she's not really that close with.
That's
to
my
be quite
point,
frank.
Right. I don't feel like
Yeah.
she has any close-knit friends. Like her and Venita were the closest, and they just buddied up like months ago.
Right. And if you were to ask that question, I'm assuming because they were buddy-buddy months ago, Sally probably did have that conversation with Venita about wanting to settle down and wanting to just like find somebody and date realistically. But Venita's not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Because she's mad at her for hanging out with Craig, because she feels in a weird way that she's hanging out with Craig vindictively to get back at Venita, or to just like, hey, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to hang out with who I'm going to hang out with. I don't care about our friendship. That's where Venita is. So she's not going to speak up and be like, she is actually somewhat of a girl's girl. It's just, she's figuring out her way is how I would label it.
That's what I see as well. And like with Venita taking it personally, this was an interesting shift this episode because we've always rallied for Venita and getting more screen time and things like that. This has gone to a level of personal that like, Sally's not taking a shot at you by doing this. You have every right to feel some type of way about it because of your relationship with Craig.
Yeah.
But we talked about before where it's like after a certain point, you have to just let her go find out. That was last week. And we're like, yeah, let her go. She's going to get smoked. We all know it. You know it. And then be there to pick up the pieces afterwards. But she's trying to frame it differently where it's like she doesn't care about me at all. And for her to bring up JT, as being a reason for that. It's like, okay, well, in all fairness, how was Sally when you were with JT? Because JT was a dick to Sally in front of you and all of us. We saw that shit at his weird Airbnb thing that definitely never panned out, and he definitely had to sell it for a loss. But Sally never went to Venita and made her feel awful for hooking up with JT, who clearly didn't like Sally, who was pretty much slut shaming her because she had hooked up with somebody else.
Yeah.
So
Not to mention that JT was also dating somebody the entire season while talking to Venita.
Right.
I'm sure Sally had multitudes of opportunities to step in there and be like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? And didn't.
Right.
Because you're an adult and she's going to let you make your own decisions and then live with it. And then when you're done, she'll be there to help pick up the pieces, which is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
But to then do this, I think this is utter bullshit too. Venita, we've been at the forefront of, I still believe this, by the way, give her more screen time.
Yeah, definitely.
Just so we can get a better assessment, because we do think that she was getting shafted by the last producers.
She was.
There was not enough there. She broke up with her boyfriend in the beginning of last season. We saw a snippet of it. It seemed like an emotional scene that they could have given us more of. But more than that, we don't really know what's going on with Venita. We don't really know what kind of person she is. We just have to take like her socials and the stories that we hear from other people and the minimal scenes that we get of Venita to make an assessment of who she is. The more that we get, the more that we're going to understand, and we're either going to like her or dislike her. I still think she can be so good for the show.
I think she still is good for the show.
Because she's apparently batshit crazy. Like, just putting it mildly. Like, this is what she did in this episode. It's like, holy shit. This is awesome.
It's great for TV.
Don't stop doing this, because this is what this show needs. But also, where the hell are you getting off, buddy?
It was weird when we get to that scene later. Just, I don't know what happened there, where, like, that didn't need to go the way it did. Well, I'll save it.
Well, the trauma dump, like sad story. I had a best friend in high school who, just up and left, and I never saw her again. It's like, okay.
Honestly, if she left it at
whatever.
My thing wasn't that one. That one I was like, all right. The
JT comparison, it's
that
like,
was when I was like,
that's
dude,
tone deaf.
right, because it's the same situation that you're doing to her, but she handled it much better than you did. So that's a weird thing to bring up.
Also, we told you on this podcast specifically, get as far away as possible from JT.
Yeah.
And you didn't. So you're not getting any sympathy from me for that one. You did that to yourself.
Yeah, and to put the crosshairs on herself like that was just interesting, because I don't think that she thought that one through. And then JT left. It's like, yeah, and Sally was still there.
Yeah.
Hello. Like, anyway, we get to Sally chicken shopping with Craig. This scene. This was tough. I felt for Sally because I respect the hell out of her. It's been long enough. Let's rip this fucking Band-Aid off. I'm here purchasing farm animals right now in an attempt to connect with you, dude. So I'm just going to rip this Band-Aid off. Hey, I'm catching feelings. Somehow in letting her down easy, it still came off rude. I thought he's like, oh no, we're just friends. Like, I don't see it really.
Yeah. No, he completely downplayed everything that she was saying and then ignored her emotions.
Yeah.
Where I don't really understand it. There was a romantic spark there at one point. We see the text messages. You could have stayed over if you wanted to. That only means one thing. I don't care what you're going to spin that into. It only means one thing. And I feel like this was really hard for Sally to do.
Definitely.
I feel like this is probably the first time in her life that she's had to wait this long and then try to force this in. Like, hey, I've got feelings. Are we doing anything here? Like, I feel like I'm going crazy because you're not making a move and nothing's really happening. And I don't want this moment to pass. And instead it's like, nah, we're friends. High five?
That's literally, he wanted like a fist bump.
Yeah. And it's bizarre to me. It's like, at the very least, I don't care if you did identify each other as friends. Like, maybe after the first week or so of hanging out, you're like, I'm not really feeling the spark. You don't have to tell her I'm not feeling the spark. Maybe don't invite her over late night if it's just the two of you guys. If there's a whole group of people, fine, that's okay. But if it's just the two of you guys, probably shouldn't be doing that. We don't know for sure that that's what was going on, but I suspect at least a couple of times that it was just the two of you guys hanging out in your hot tub. We all know what that means. And you weren't making a move. That's not enough to then quell her emotions and be like, oh, yeah, okay, sure. And if she's coming to you hat in hand like, hey, I've caught feelings. I've got emotions towards you. I think that maybe we should start dating. you don't just say, "What are you talking about?" Like we're friends, buddy.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
yes, exactly.
pal.
We're friends, dude.
Like rubber on the head or
Like,
something.
pat, fist
yeah.
bump, and let's get out of here
Hey,
with these
congrats on the
chickens,
chickens.
huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hit up Charley, but let me know if you need
Yeah,
chicken help.
that's the other thing is like, we give Craig a lot of shit, and I don't think he's that smart, but like, there's a very basic level of intelligence here. You know what you're doing with Charley. You're sneaking around. You're trying not to upset Sally, so you know she has emotions for you. You're hoping they just go away, and they're not going away because you're inviting her over to go to the hot tub. So this is your fault. You do need to do a better job at this point. Again, if you have no emotions towards Sally and you really have been feeling this way for a couple of weeks,
You should have told her.
have a longer conversation.
Yeah.
At the very least. Just be like, hey, yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping that this would kind of go away, but like, I'm just not really feeling it. And like, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't want to lead you on. I didn't want to give you mixed signals or anything.
Fuck
Even
that.
though he was, but like, at least have the conversation. Be like, I didn't
Oh,
want to
yeah,
do that.
sorry. I misunderstood.
No, yeah. At least have the conversation and tell her, like, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't want to do that. I was hoping that we could just be friends.
I'm sorry I led you on.
I'm sorry that it's gotten to this point. Like anything at all. Any sort of apology would have probably gone a long way.
Accountability, ownership, something that
Something
acknowledges.
that you talk about with ChatGPT would probably be helpful here.
Fine.
I don't know. And instead, it's such a weird black and white. Like, no, like I'm not. We're friends.
What are you, nuts?
I was hoping we could just continue to be friends. It's like you're using her in a weird way.
Exactly. And we can talk about it now. We're not fully there, but he says something that simply must be addressed. This doesn't meet the threshold of leading anyone on. My guy, if you have to say those words out loud to try to convince yourself, then you know damn well it went too far.
What is the threshold?
The threshold, there is no threshold.
Yeah.
It's about the situation. And if we look at this situation, hanging out in a hot tub with somebody repeatedly over the course of a month is leading them on. Until 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. When you send a text that says, hey, you could have stayed, you are throwing things out there. If we go chronologically from when that text happened, yes, you could have stayed. And then she took every opportunity she could to get back in that hot tub with you multiple times throughout that month. What do you think she was thinking, Craig? But that's the thing. You're not the dumbest dude in the world, so you know exactly what she was thinking. And you loved the idea of Charley and Sally both being there and knowing that if you wanted to, you could hook up with one of them. If you wanted to take that step, but you want to hide behind the fact that you're not ready to take that step. You're not that kind of guy. So you get this weird rush out of leading them on, this weird rush of being a fuckboy without the fucking part, but that does not absolve you from emotionally leading them on and emotionally crushing this girl because you know damn well, dude, you knew the whole time because you texted her back that you could have stayed. You cannot fall back now and say, oh, after week 2, I just thought we were... No, you loved the idea of being able to say, hey, come sit in my hot tub with me. And I know if I make a move, I know you'll do it back, but I'm not going to.
But also just being like, after week 2, okay, what about those first 2 weeks? That's a long time.
Sure.
2 full weeks of hanging out in person. It's not like this was like a weird one night stands where you guys didn't really like, maybe you made out, but like you didn't do too much. And then you kind of move forward and you're like, yeah, and we were both pretty drunk. I do want to be friends. You don't have to have that conversation. That doesn't really have to happen. If it was one like weekend long of like exchanged messages and you guys were flirting or something, it's like, okay, yeah, that's okay. But then you move on. You were doing this for a very long period of time. Way too long.
If you're texting a single person daily,
Yeah.
hanging out with them multiple times a week, talking about making improvements, quote unquote, to their life, life-changing things like buying animals,
Yeah.
then you know, dude, there's no way that you are up your own... Actually, with Craig, he might be up his own ass so far that he doesn't realize it, but I'm not going to give him that out. You should have at some point been a grown-up and done something better than this because just because you're fucking crushed doesn't mean you get to go around crushing people. Because Sally, did she go a little far? Sure. Was it a little strong? Kinda. But now we know why. She saw something in you, Craig, that resonated with her like, ooh, we're on the same timeline. Let's fucking do this. And then every time she probably started to question it, you probably texted her to come hang out in the hot tub.
Yeah.
So now she's getting mixed signals and she has the balls to bring that to you, which I respect the hell out of her for that. And even you could have faked this one. Oh my gosh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I don't feel the same way, but I'm sorry if I led you on with like the texts or the hot tub. Like, I didn't expect this to happen this way. I would love to be friends with you, but if we can't be friends, I understand. Take ownership of the situation so she doesn't feel crazy.
Yeah.
Because she's already smoked, she's already sad, she's already going to have to face Venita, face Charley, figure all this shit out, figure out a next step forward. She's embarrassed. Take some of that off of her. If you are her quote unquote friend, the least you could do is be like, here, you don't have to have that much shame. Like, it's not your fault at all. It's my fault for being a fuckboy.
Yeah.
Because fuckboy does not mean you're just trying to get laid. Fuckboy can be emotional terrorism. It can be all sorts of things. That's what he's doing. So anybody out there that's like going on Twitter, going on Instagram saying he didn't lead her on, they didn't even hook, there's so much more to it than that. And he knew what he was doing playing with her emotions because he got a rise out of it. He liked that feeling. I know dudes like this. They text 40 chicks at the same time. They don't hook up with any of them. They ask him for like little things here and there to make sure they know if they wanted to.
It's the gratification. That's the other thing is he can't even claim ignorance. Like the most ignorant person on Bravo or reality TV
Shep could claim ignorance.
I don't think anybody can claim ignorance at this point. It's been going on for too long.
Oh, that's yeah.
It's been going on for way too long. And the other part is if you're going to say, Sally didn't make her intentions clear, that's bullshit too.
Fuck outta here.
She very clearly had puppy dog eyes for him since day one and continued those puppy dog eyes and little comments here and there and flirtatious behavior for weeks. That's enough.
Yep.
That is enough. I mean, that's showing your feelings instead of just stating them. So you can't say, well, what did she expect? She didn't say anything. She didn't ask him out. Have we gotten to that point yet? Everything's very equal. Like the girl is also held accountable because she didn't ask the guy out. Like I think that's probably where we're heading, especially for somebody like Sally. Like I just don't get it. And I feel like after this episode, it's just so very clear that it's clearly on Craig. The Sally stuff is clearly on Craig.
Yes.
However,
Ooh.
the Charley stuff is now on Charley.
Yep.
Fully on Charley.
Unfortunately, that last
has gotten out of hand.
That last scene completely shifted it.
Well, again, and this is what happens when we get a goddamn timeline. When we get a timeline and somebody drops, it's been going on for a month, then we know. At least maybe somewhere around a week later, Charley gets introduced, so that's 3 weeks.
Yeah, we start backtracking quick.
Yeah, we've got at least 3 weeks of Charley and Craig having secret meetups at her gallery, talking about this, talking about that, planning a date to the oyster farm. This is fully on Charley now. And look, if you don't want to be friends, I think we said this originally, if you don't want to be friends with Sally and you're not worried about her feelings, fine. I have no skin in the game. I don't fucking give a shit. But if you can't claim like I was too afraid to tell you or like you're in a really bad spot.
This is far worse than the Venita Sally of it all.
This
is
worse than Craig leading on Sally for a month.
It's very close.
Yeah.
It's very close. I
worse,
still think Craig's
well,
worse.
that's just because we're dudes and we just watch it and we're like, come on, like
Well,
I'm not saying cut her off, but at least like do a couple of things that just show that you're interested in friendship.
Yeah.
Which he clearly hasn't done.
No. And like that's the unique perspective, like us watching this. It's like everything that he does, we're like, oh yeah, I know what he's doing. Like it doesn't take me more than a split second to register, like, oh, that's
right.
Yeah, you fucker.
Yeah.
So yeah, Charley has put herself in a bad spot. Unintentional. I will say that. This is an unintentional fuck up. But she has backed herself into a corner here because... But then it goes back on Craig because now Craig's shown his hand. He's shown who he is. And Charley knows that. And that's when it goes back on Charley because it's like, hey, he just fucking steamrolled her.
The way that this plays out, especially with being on a TV show like this where everybody is very inside each other's business, he's not going to get either of them. He shouldn't.
Not.
He really shouldn't get either of them because it's just too polarizing. You have to realize after all of the things that just happened and at the end of this episode, everybody knows what's going on. If you end up dating Craig after all of this, you're going to look like a fucking idiot.
You're the rebound now.
Correct.
Sally was in line to be the rebound.
Never
and then
was.
He shifted focus when you popped in.
It's just so funny too because when it started, we're like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like Charley, feel it out. See if there's anything there. And then deal with the whole Sally situation. I didn't know how long it had been. It's been, let's call that a month as well. It's like, okay, you've known that this was going on. There's a lot of confessionals about you talking about dating Craig and not bringing it up to Sally. Like you said Sally just as much as you said Craig. There's a big issue there.
Yeah.
So
You're telling
the onus
us.
goes back onto Charley, which is like, and this is also what happens. Craig will end up skating out of this without dating either of them. Nobody's really going to hold him accountable. They might be mad. Or Sally and, maybe Molly.
I don't
could
know.
see
Rod
maybe.
and Austin are going to hold that group accountable. They're not going
Thank
to
God
let
Rod's
them.
there,
I
yeah.
know, dude. Where
If that
would
was
we be
just
without
Austin at the end of the episode, it would be like, oh, Austin.
I know.
Oh, Austin,
But-
what are you
but
doing, buddy?
Rod jumped in. I was like,
Rod
oh!
jumping in with the haymaker is like, okay, that's good. That is a verifiable source.
Blacked out Rod. Just
Dude,
that's-
I
was
loved
like,
it. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
wait to get there. But yeah, let's.
I got a message. We got to message him. Just be like,
Yeah.
hey man, what happened?
Yeah. Did you watch last night? What happened, buddy?
Came out of nowhere, huh?
Oh boy.
Jesus. Now, speaking of Charley, we get to Charley FaceTiming her mom. And mom, look, I get what mom's saying. I don't disagree with mom because she also has no real skin in the game but Charley. So she's like, look, I get that you're her friend, but at the same time, like you're an individual, you got to do what you got to do. 2 weeks ago, we would have agreed. But because we're at this point now, and because we have seen so many confessionals with Charley and so many conversations with Charley and her mom about her talking about how this is going to affect Sally, you should have talked to Sally by now.
It could have been a situation up until the oyster farm date.
Yes.
Right when that happens. Like before then, it's like, it's excusable.
Sure.
You're not really sure what's going on. You haven't really heard anything. Craig is saying that him and Sally are friends. Sally's still very clearly into Craig in some way, but you're not talking to her about it as much. So you're just kind of feeling it out. But once that happens, once he says, you and I should go to this oyster farm together, and you even make the comment, is this a date? Then you say, okay, this is real. Let me check in with Sally.
Yes.
Hey, I don't know what's going on with you and Craig, but like, I've been seeing him. He pops up every once in a while. He was at my gallery. It's not like you have control over whether Craig can come in and out. He was there and he invited me to this oyster farm. It seems like a fucking date. Where are you guys? I don't know. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was clear. Then you'll get the lay of the land. Then you'll understand where you are. If Sally pops off at you, it's still not really your fault because you gave her a heads up because something concrete is now delivered to you.
Right.
A date is delivered to you. You ask Sally, it should be okay on your
Well, there
end.
could be fallout, but you can come back from that.
For sure. But
This
being
is gonna be
secret
hard.
and then seeing the worry on her face as she's talking to her mom too, it's like, whoa, you understand the gravity of this situation.
You can't wait till the end of the party. You do it
Yeah.
at the beginning. As soon as
Uh-huh.
Sally walks in, you grab her and go, hey, we got to talk.
Yep.
Because if you don't, then this happens and now you're fucked.
Yep.
You're up Shit's Creek without a paddle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but it's just tough, man. It's tough. So she does tell mom that she's gonna tell her tonight at this sleepover with Madison. So we know how that goes. But
Mm-hmm.
let's get to Madison's ultrasound. And I was already shifting towards Team Sally. This was the last thing I needed to see to be full blown Team Sally because everything she's saying to Madison then brings back up the fact that she was engaged.
Mm-hmm.
That all fell apart. So she had this whole plan. She wants to be married. She wants to have kids. She wants to settle down. She wants X, Y, and Z. And she wants it now because she thought she was going to have it. So everything, all of the behavior, all of the shit that she was doing, it all lines up and it all makes sense. It's like, oh, you were just trying to push this faster because you thought you found somebody that would do the same thing. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So you're not crazy.
No, this gave us so much more perspective on Sally.
Yeah, and it made me feel so bad for her. I'm like, fuck, that sucks. Because she's like, I don't even have somebody I can
She's-
drunk text right now.
In a way, she's in a very similar position as Whitner and as Craig.
Yeah.
She thought that she had her whole life. Yeah, obviously there's a couple of years removed there. She's more in line with what Whitner was, but she had her whole life planned out. She hit a speed bump. She got thrown. She's figuring shit out. She spent a couple of years figuring shit out. She thought she actually had something. This was like the final nail in the coffin for, she's just dicking around and she doesn't care about anybody else's feelings. No, she was actually putting her feelings first.
Which is okay.
Which is completely fine. And she thought she had something and she was being pushed into that by somebody who never wanted that in the first place.
Bingo.
So that's why you feel bad for Sally.
Yep, 100%. Well said. And of course, Madison, she's already got a read on it. Like, it doesn't take her
No, she knows what's
time
going
at all.
on.
Yeah, she's like, he's playing clueless. He's going to be the nice Southern boy, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. But Madison knows this group better than everybody. She knows the dudes better than anybody. And she reads it for what it is. And I cannot wait. And I really hope it happens. I really hope it happens. for Craig to overstep,
Yep.
do too much, and Madison drop the fucking hammer and be like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
This is what you did.
Yeah. I guess look, you could say maybe she won't do it because she's pregnant. I think she's more likely to do it because she's pregnant.
I think that I don't know.
It depends on how the rest of this, because it gets cut off at the end of the episode. The rest of her sleepover is probably going to be very, it's going to indicate how she's going to move
But
forward.
you know what she does? She's not really talking. She's
No.
sitting there. She's filing things away.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what did you say? Okay, got it, got it. What then? What did he say?
I wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised
got
if she already knew that Craig asked Sally out.
Probably.
Or Charley out.
it. I thought she didn't she? No,
No, I don't think so.
I guess not to that party.
No.
Someone told her. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so she's just filing things away for later to tear Craig a new asshole, which is going to be nice. But let's get to boys' night, girls' night. Okay, so the dudes are going. The bar looked awesome.
Yeah.
That looked like a really cool bar.
Yeah.
So when we go to Charleston, we got to check that place out.
Definitely.
Craig arrives first, and like you said, Whitner does a good job of setting it up so that there's no tension. He's like, yeah, I saw Austin. He says, you guys are in a good place. And he's like, yeah, we made up entirely. We're totally fine. Everything's great. We're going to be awesome. Whoa. Breathe.
And it's so funny because it's just copy and paste of every fight that they've ever had. And again, this is what we keep talking about, where it's Craig on this trajectory of like, wow, he's becoming a better person. Oh, Paige dumped him. Oh, nope, he's right back to where he is. Austin has been like steadily climbing the maturity level, and he's surpassed Craig.
Yeah.
Fully surpassed
I
Craig.
agree.
And you can see this because they've gone through this, and it's a cycle that just completely rolls through and rolls through and rolls through. And it affects Austin way more than it affects Craig. I don't think that Craig would be that bad if he wasn't friends with Austin anymore. But I think Austin's having a really hard time, and has been having a really hard time coming to grips with where his friendship with Craig is going to end up.
Yeah.
And I think he's finally wrapping his head around the fact that, like, maybe I don't need Craig because at least I'll spare myself some pain.
I think
he's really invested in it.
I think that something you said is exactly what it is. I think there's worry that, I don't know if success is the right word. I don't know what the word is, but he's worried about losing something by losing Craig.
Correct.
That his life will alter if Craig's out of the picture. That maybe his success on the show and in life is tied to Craig in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I think he's getting to the point now, like you said, where actually Craig's a detriment to all those things.
Right.
But
And it
it's
could
like
even
the
be a
blinders.
situation where it's like, why did I go through all of this just to not be friends
Right,
with him at the end of
yeah.
the day?
Yeah.
It's been years and years of this. So getting that, obviously we had the conversation with Whitner and Austin earlier in the episode where it's like, okay, that's what I want to hear from Austin because he's
Growing
sticking to
up.
his guns. He said the same thing. He was talking to Audrey before Patricia's party. He said the same thing to Craig afterwards. Like, if you do this again, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Lo and behold, he's very close to it. I don't think that Craig necessarily snaps at him, but he does a typical Craig thing. So Craig walking in and immediately saying everything's fine, it just tells us everything that we need to know.
Exactly. And Whitner brings up Sally. I didn't know this either because they don't show
Yeah, this
these many
was
scenes.
this is what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, so Austin has been hanging out with Sally one-on-one. They went to High Times or whatever that was, High Tide, I don't know. But
It's at the gym, but
is that the gym?
uh-huh.
Okay, so
But it's also interesting too because if you use a piece of information we got earlier in the episode, Sally stopped going to the gym with Rod, Molly, and whoever the fourth person was.
Oh, because she wanted to flirt with Austin.
And maybe she's going with Austin now, and that would make more sense. And Craig, we're really putting this whole thing together.
And Austin
Craig
likes the
said-
attention from Sally.
He likes the attention from Sally, but Craig said earlier in the season, I go to the gym during the day for a few hours. Austin goes at night and walks. Is Austin going at night with Sally? Is Sally going with Austin at night, not going out with her normal crew? And they're saying, oh, it's because she's at the hot tub. In reality, and I don't think anything necessarily nefarious is going on there. I don't think he's cheating on her.
No, but we
on
do know
Audrey.
that Sally said multiple times and doubled
She
down
would
on
be.
Watch What Happens Live
Yeah.
that she'd be next in line. If
She didn't
Austin
say
was single.
specifically Austin, but I mean, we're getting to that point in the season where him and Audrey are going to
No,
break
she
up.
flat out said. if
She did
Austin
say
was
with
single.
Austin. Yeah, no, I know that. But on Watch What Happens Live, she said,
Oh.
if you thought I was going after Craig hard, just wait till you see the rest of this season. And it was after the Austin comment, but she didn't say I was going after Austin. So it'll be
If
interesting
he's
to see how that
single, I
plays
don't
out.
give a shit.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what he's doing. He's
This
liking
was a
the
little
attention.
secretive,
He's
yeah.
liking the attention. He's going to paint it as a friendship. Not great, dude. Not great. We're trying to sing your praises, but like
Mhm.
that's where like he's on this trajectory. And this is not an excuse. Like
No.
he shouldn't be doing that. he's slowly going up. It's stuff like this where he goes beep and he'll hopefully come back up from it. But yeah, that's not great. Not great. Not a great look. But the way Craig takes it is not, oh, he's hanging out with Sally behind Audrey's back. He takes it as, and a big part of me is like, oh, he's going to want to get with Sally now. Once he heard this, I was like, he probably is going to go back to Sally and try to hook up now because he feels impeded upon. Because that's what this whole thing's about. He has the power of this weird love triangle that's going on. Which, wait, now it makes sense, the love trapezoid. Because then Austin's probably going to get involved with Sally. And then Craig's going to get jealous. And then all of a sudden he's going to like Sally
Charley
again.
Yeah. Well.
Lo and behold, bet me, everybody, bet me that that's the timeline that we end up going down. But we flash over to girls' night. And I love that we get Madison's pajamas on display.
Yep.
Because we haven't gotten any of the girls' products throughout the years. It's time that they started highlighting their shit too. We have not seen Trop Pop. We have not seen Sewing Down South, but we've seen Madison's pajamas.
We were at their restaurant last week, and we didn't get that big introduction.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm here for it. So I'm glad that she finally got to show off her product. And Molly and Venita arrive first, and Sally comes up, of course. And tough look here because they let slip that Craig said, I just want to be friends, and Sally's shit-eating grin. You actually, you know what? I don't falter as much here. You can smile now. I take that back. She can smile the way she's smiling. Yeah.
Okay.
At this whole thing because Sally's not there.
Right.
If you want to have your I told you so moment right now, this is the time to soak it in and be like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah,
you
can say whatever. You could say, who didn't see this one coming?
Sure.
I did.
Get it out right now so you don't do it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been the right move. And the question comes up, does he like Charley? It's like, yeah, and that leads us right back into boys' night where the oyster date with Charley comes up. And Austin's like, oh, like a date? And he's like, no, God, what? No, date. Absolutely not. I don't know if it really is because Austin says, he has to have like bibliography and annotated this and that before he makes a move.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that or now I'm thinking because of the Sally thing, it's like, oh, you just want to keep labels off of it. So if you bail, it doesn't make you look like a dick.
I think that's probably what he's trying to do. He's trying to wade into those waters of if I don't label anything as a date or if I just keep saying, yeah, we're hanging out, or maybe I invite a third person along. Like if I have Corey come with us, then it's really not a date and I can kind of keep the heat off of my back until I figure out this whole thing. I do weirdly think that it's more that than it is I need to try to keep this not a date so that it doesn't piss off Sally. In a weird way, which again goes against most of the things that we've been saying. But for this instance, it does make more sense what Austin said.
Well, no, it actually gives everything we said more credence because why are you worried about Sally's feelings if there were no feelings there?
Right.
If you're concerned about hurting them now, but that you said that there was.
But I don't think he's worried about Sally's feelings when he's not labeling it as a date.
Oh,
I don't think that in his mind, I think if he labels it a date, it's more of a detriment to himself
and Charley
and their future together than it is for Sally's emotions.
I agree.
Like I don't think he's hiding the date aspect from Sally to not piss her off.
We're on the same page. I thought you said something. I agree. No, this is 100% self-serving.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Now everybody arrives to ladies' night. We got Charley, we got Sally, potential friend of Lauren, or she just a pop in maybe.
I think it's just Madison's friend. Yeah.
Okay, and Sally looks defeated. She walks in. She's like, "Pour me something strong. I'm going to go get changed." And Charley feels weird and nervous. And in her confessional, she's like, I'm not like asking for permission. No, you're not.
It's more of a heads up.
Something, just helping out a friend because you know this is going to be bad. But man, you got to grab her right then.
Yeah.
Because you're leaving too many variables are out there now. Too many people know, and she still doesn't know. And you're at a party with people that know.
Yeah.
You're just, and I get it.
It's actually more for Charley. Like, do this for yourself.
Yeah, so
you're going to be in a worse position. And we already know how nervous you are. And you say that you're not nervous, but I don't believe you. I watched that conversation with your mom. You were sweating.
Literally.
Yeah, telling your mom that.
At the end of it, you're cringing.
Yeah, so just get ahead of this for your own good.
Please. You don't.
Leave us out of it.
You don't at all. You do the worst thing. You just don't talk. You just sit there quietly. So now they think something's wrong. And you haven't addressed it. So we're setting ourselves up for failure. But the whole thing comes up in front of everybody, which I actually liked. And it's like, Sally's analysis of the situation, she's like, honestly, Venita was right about Craig, but I'm annoyed she said don't come calling when he breaks your heart.
Fair.
I don't do friendship like that. That is fair. Because again, like we said earlier, the denial from Craig is enough. That's going to sting plenty.
Mm-hmm.
The extra cherry on top of your I told you so moment, you don't need it. So,
I know you hate Craig. We all know you hate Craig, but you don't have to go at your friends like that. You think that it's so personal. Like she's doing this to hurt you for some reason, or she's disregarding your feelings. She's not. She just feels something with Craig, and she thinks maybe deep down that the thing you have going on with Craig isn't that deep.
That being said,
guys
she
just
could
aren't
have- she
friends.
could have relayed some of this to Venita.
Fair. She could have along the way tried to do some things here and there, but again, we now know, especially after this episode, how Venita's going to react to those things. So if I'm Sally and I'm feeling out the Craig situation, much like how Charley was feeling out the Craig situation and not telling Sally, if I'm Sally, I'm not going to tell Venita anything. I'm going to hang out with them. I'm not going to be as dismissive, but I'm not going to tell her every step of the way, like, hey, I'm hanging out with Craig. I think I've got some feelings. I'm going to see where this goes. I know you hate him, but like, whatever. I don't expect her to do that because that's like sainthood at that point. Like, you can't really expect that. But at the same time, that tone of that conversation was so weird. It should have just been Venita saying, look, you're still my friend. I'm just worried about you because I've seen Craig do this before. This is what I feel. This is the vibe I'm getting. He's going to cast you aside as soon as something else comes along. And I don't want you to get hurt. Those are the ways to do that. And you can say whatever you want in the middle, but that really should have been the message. And instead the message was, you look like a fucking idiot, and I'm not going to be here when that happens. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen, which she was right. I'm not going to be here when it all falls apart. I'm not picking up those pieces. Don't give me a call. It's like, you're not a friend. You want her to be a friend to you and avoid Craig at all costs because you don't like Craig and Craig doesn't like you. But then you get an opportunity to be a good friend and potentially just help her out. And maybe things play out a little differently. Maybe she starts to see what you're saying if you go at her a little softer. Instead, you decide to just go scorched earth on her. And you're like, fuck you. Don't call me after this whole thing falls apart. Of course, Sally's not going to call you after it falls apart.
No, and then sitting there debriefing about the whole thing, and Venita like, why didn't you call me? Because you said not to.
Yeah.
And like, let's not make this into more than it has to be. Sally is drinking, I believe, hard liquor at this point.
Mm-hmm.
She has been through it today. I'm not saying, Venita, that your feelings are not valid. They
Right.
are. But I would imagine at some point along the way, if you show up for your friend, in about a week, maybe less, Sally's going to be like, hey, I should have listened to you. I'm sorry I treated you a certain way. And maybe she does it. If she never brings it up, that's a conversation you can have with her later.
Yep.
Sitting there while she's still putting bandages on after this whole thing and being like, I told you so. Why?
Yeah.
Why? She's crushed right now. She's absolutely crushed and she's about to get completely smoked. Like, just let her be. No?
Yeah. No, let her be. And also, I feel like Sally handled this better than I would have, better than I expected her to, because she didn't go after Venita and just like get in her face and start yelling about it, even though she could have and probably would have. But instead, she's like, look, you told me not to call you. I don't know what you want from me. I just talked to him. He let me down like that. It fucking sucks. I feel like shit right now. So I don't really need the whole song and dance about I told you so. It just isn't how that's going to go. How Venita turns this into her being the victim is wild to me. You know what? I can't handle this. I'm going home.
Don't acknowledge my
I've had
feelings.
enough. You don't acknowledge any of my, like, why? Your feelings aren't really involved in this.
Not right now, especially.
You and Craig have never been friends. And then you said something about him on a podcast. He then returned fire on Watch Robin's Live. Who cares?
It's a normal Bravo spat.
Yeah, but also you've never been friends, so who gives a shit? It's not like there was a huge emotional falling out where you guys were really close, and then he said something, and it's like, whoa, this came out of left field. You don't really respect me. And then you had a huge fight, and then Sally tried to date him. That's not what happened. You guys have never been friends. So I've never really understood why Venita's taken this strong of a stance. Just avoid Craig. Who gives a shit? Do the nice Southern thing, show up with some towels, and then, talk about him behind his back. Do whatever the hell you want. But to do all of this and to then turn yourself into the victim after the whole thing, when Sally's sitting over there crushed because of what played out that you saw was going to play out.
Right.
You were right. That's a win.
That's what I thought.
You're actually in a position of power. If you still want to be friends with Sally, you sit there and you go,
Come here.
fucking sucks.
Come here.
I mean, look, it happened, but it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I still feel bad for you. Throw in one of those at some point. Instead, it just becomes all about you, which again is why I said that Venita should stay on this screen, because this was an outlandish
It
reaction.
was great.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I had no issues with it as far as entertainment value goes. I didn't know why in that moment it's like, oh, here's my I told you so moment that I'm gonna leave in a huff. It's like Craig did the damage for you.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to do anything. But at the bar, back with the dudes, Charley comes up. You and Charley got a thing? No. Fuck no. What? Absolutely not. Every answer this is what I was talking about earlier. Everything's so absolute and matter of fact. There's no wiggle room for anything, which is what leads me to believe you're a liar.
He's in his confessional talking about how interested he is,
I
how he
know.
wants to date her, how he walks over and she just smiles when I talk.
I like the way she looks back at me.
It's like, dude, you're in love with her.
That's what it sounds like.
Maybe tell your friends that you have some feelings towards her. No, we're not doing that? Okay.
But that opens the door to the whole love triangle situation, and he this is why I know that he knows more, because he's playing this weird middle ground of like, I think in the back of her mind, like Sally thought there was something, and like, but we never hung out one-on-one, and the main reason that's so fucked up that you're saying this shit too, like just keep this to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I hung out with Sally was to hang out with Charley. Oh, bro. Then hang out with Charley and let Sally down 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like anyone out there defending that he's not a fuckboy, listen to that line right there. That's all you need to hear.
But it also makes no sense timeline-wise because
No.
Charley wasn't there in the beginning.
Nope.
You invited Sally over to your house after Whitney's party, after Patricia's party, or it was actually Madison's baby shower at
right.
Patricia's. You invited Sally over. That was a week or so prior to Charley even coming into the group.
Yep.
And then from there, Charley didn't really hang out with you guys for a couple more days after that. So there's a full 2 weeks in my mind there where you were just hanging out with Sally. So you can't say I was only hanging out with Sally to get closer to Charley.
Nope.
Every time that we hung out, I just made sure that Charley was there, and that was my gateway in there. It doesn't make any sense.
No, and that also says you're a fuckboy because you're using one woman to get to another one.
Yeah.
So again, anyone out there that's like, nah, you didn't lead it. What? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Austin points out, you guys hung out every day for a month, and Craig lets us know what being a best friend means.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hanging out with somebody for a month doesn't make me best friend, Austin. No shit, bro. You know what he's inferring, right? You're a lawyer, allegedly. You know what he's saying to you. The fact that he's trying so hard to spin everything with semantics, again, tells you he knows what's going on. He's trying to get himself out of the
He knows what he
fire.
did.
100%.
He's just not going to cop to it.
Nope. And Austin is well within his right in being anybody there, because they're all friends with these people, are allowed to bring up the fact that, hey, you might have started some shit. This very well may get in between their friendship. And Craig's like, you can't put that on me. You can't put that on me. Sally's a tornado. She's chaos. Everything that's near her, she sucks. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are we taking the route of let's paint the woman as crazy?
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, screams I'm a big fuck.
By the way, just went and bought chickens with her today. Why are you hanging out with somebody like that?
What do you think the implication is also, by the way? That's my whole point. All of these implications are so heavy, and yet you want to sit there and say that she's a tornado? What are you then, a fucking hurricane?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You have trampled upon
Well, what's
her.
worse?
A hurricane.
Why?
A wider
Just
radius. No, tornadoes are usually localized and they're done in 15 minutes. Hurricanes.
Okay. No, I just
there you go.
needed to know.
Yeah, tornadoes are quick.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, usually.
Tornado Schwartz.
Hurricane. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen one tornado in my life, like a real one.
Cool.
In person. Yeah, it was sick. Went the other way, thank God.
I saw a, what's the water one called?
Oh, it's water spout.
Yeah. Those are fun.
I've seen a water
Those
spout.
are really fun.
Those pop up. But yeah, the tornado was wild. That was cool. That was in Texas. Where was I? Oh, Craig's fuckboy. Yeah, got it. More evidence to that point is him saying, me and Charley going to the oyster farm has turned into how upset is Sally going to be? Why? Why is that now the situation? Who did that? It wasn't Sally. It sure wasn't Charley. She didn't ask you to go to your friend's oyster farm.
Mm-hmm.
You have set up this situation. Whether you implied or intended to or not is irrelevant. This is a product of you, Craig. It is your job as the quote-unquote nice guy in the group to make sure everyone's okay. Sally's going to be crushed regardless. You could have handled that infinitely better. The thing with Charley, you should have had a more clear conversation with her at some point to lay out your intentions. playing the coy, like Southern boy, like, oh, I'm shy, I'm scared. Fuck you. You are an adult. These are adult women who are entering that phase in their life, clearly with Sally, where they're ready for bigger things. They're not dating for fun anymore. They're dating because they're trying to figure out their next steps. And you, the 40-year-old who got smoked by your ex, is now taking that out on them. Because you're quote unquote, if I hear this one more time, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. All of a sudden, Craig is living his life and everyone's mad about it. Because you living your life is at the detriment to everybody around you. And when people try to criticize you about that, you refuse to listen to them. You come up with outlandish excuses like you're an addict or an alcoholic. And then you point the finger around you. You did this, and you did this. Even though none of them are involved in the situation that you've created. You have now doled out blame to everybody but yourself. And instead of sitting there and taking this from Austin, which you deserve, you get your ball and you go home and blame everyone else.
Yeah, I was still happy to see the rest of the group not like by not talking and like not explaining things to Craig, they already kind of they drew their line in the sand. We've seen this happen multitudes of times where Craig will go off and you'll see a couple of people be like, yeah, Craig's not wrong. Craig is absolutely wrong.
Yep.
Craig's wrong. I'm happy that the rest of the guys can see that. And look, you can read into it a couple different ways.
Sure.
The way that Austin was talking about Sally, bit much.
Yeah.
Bit much. She's a sweetheart. She's got a great heart. She's a great girl. She wouldn't hurt a fly. Oh, all right.
You've been hanging out with her at the gym?
All right. You back off a little bit
You've been
better,
walking on
buddy.
the treadmill next to her a lot?
Yeah. Look, he's not wrong by any means.
He's not wrong.
But it is, the timing is very funny because Craig, and I'm surprised Craig didn't pull something out of his ass right there.
It's coming.
I know it's coming, but I'm surprised in the frantic mood that Craig has been in. I'm surprised he didn't drop it immediately.
Whitner, tell him that Sally hangs out with Austin.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I expected. So nobody stops Craig. Craig just leaves. It's like, okay, we're doing this again. Bye, Craig. Really thought this night was going to be so much better. This is not how I thought this night was going to be. What did you think was going to happen?
Sit in my hot tub and text Sally.
Yeah, that's probably what he's doing. He's sitting in his hot tub alone, texting Sally, texting Charley. Anybody want? No, you guys are at Madison's. Okay.
What do you mean you're talking about me?
What happened? What happened? You can tell, and this was what I was talking about at the beginning of the episode. The guys had fun.
Oh,
The
yeah.
girls had fun at their little sleepover, but the guys had a great time.
Sure did.
They got a little mangled. They went out, had a couple of beers. Whitner's got a tab open.
Hell yeah, brother.
Everybody, put it on Whitner's tab. We're going to have a good time. Come on, we're having a good time here. Rod and Austin are just hammered.
Wasted.
Whitner might be holding it better together. I would be surprised if he wasn't as drunk, but maybe he's just
Maybe
like
he
a
was
bit
driving.
of a because no, they took an Uber because they did call.
Good.
They did
Good job,
say a
guys.
couple different times, "Let's call an Uber."
Love that.
When they went from bar to bar and then over to Madison's, but Whitner, when they go over and they decide to do a panty raid,
Yep.
which is a very funny phrase to go over to Madison sleepover. They go over there. Whitner immediately is in the kitchen and he's got a little goblet. And I'm like, he's fucked up too. I know what that is. I know exactly what you're doing. Austin is laying on his belly with his feet up in the air, just kicking it, just feeling great. Him and Madison have a great, I love when he walks in and he's, wow, this is beautiful. Madison's like, you got to go see the pool. They're just having a great time, kikiing, figuring it out. Rod's in a great spot. Everybody's happy to see, like at first, no, turns into, all right, come on. Come on. You guys are fun. Just don't spill any fucking wine on my white carpet. I swear to God, I'll kill you. Fine. Let's just decompress and talk about tonight. What happened?
Brief, everybody.
What happened to Craig tonight? Craig shit.
As soon as Austin sighs,
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, he's going to do it.
Yeah. And he, to his credit, because I thought he was going to do it too, to his credit, he just kept it on task. And look, he knows Sally just went through this today or the day before. That's what they're probably talking about. We're all caught up to speed on this, except for the one thing that Rod drops. Let's talk about this. Craig was just weirdly spinning things out of control when it comes to Sally. We weren't really pressing him. We were just asking him what's going on. And he called Sally a tornado. He said that she's chaotic and she just ruins everything in her path. Yeah, he's using hyperbole, but he did pretty much say that. Sally's on one.
I love
ready to go right away. Fuck
Rightfully
that.
so.
Absolutely. Let's go. Let's go after this. Hey, you're being fucking quiet over there. Charley, what the hell's going on? Well, the whole thing just spiraled out of control because him and Charley are going on a date on Thursday.
No, Rod goes, come on, Charlie's going on a date with him. Don't scare her. Rod, hey, man.
Oh, God.
Quiet down.
In like the drunkest, slurriest little voice.
Then
Like,
his face, he does the George.
uh,
Yeah.
yep. What did I? Yep. Okay. What? The
Whoops.
fuck's going on?
Yep.
That was news to everybody there.
Mhm.
And that is such a great way. I love the way the episode ended because everybody in that room, except for Charlie and Sally, and maybe some people towards Charlie because they feel like she's doing this like behind Sally's back.
Maybe.
Everybody else is in a great place. They're all friends. They're just gossiping about the group.
Some
There's
hot
two
goss.
people on the outs right now. We've got one of them here. Let's get her.
That's what you want in a show. Like, this is what we want to see. We want to see camaraderie. We want to see these big moments at the end of the show. We want to see everyone getting along. And we want to see them rally behind people that deserve to be rallied behind. Craig had his time in the sun. He is very quickly plummeting back down to earth. And that's what's beautiful about this group. They're not going to let this go, especially now that Madison's involved and sees how crushed Sally was. And now I know that she has that big sister role. This will not end well for Craig. Not that Craig's going to take any kind of ownership or accountability.
Yep.
But you want to see this. You want to see a big cast rallied together because that means that we are in a good season. That's exactly what that means. And I'm stoked.
Absolutely. Oh, I can already see a couple of Sally haters in these comments. Let's get through them.
Yay. Come on out. Come on down.
Well, this is more of a question, so we'll inform you. From Emily Perillo, 14. Did Craig actually lead Sally on, or was she just Delulu?
He let her on hard.
Yeah, he let her on really hard. Very astute point from Hildita La Del Barrio. Craig said he was considering distancing himself from Sally, but then seems pissed when he finds out Austin is spending time with her. Is he jealous of her or just mad because it's Austin?
Both.
Yep.
Both. That's what I was saying earlier.
Janice Frillman, what was Sally expecting? You could say that, like, yeah, what was she expecting? Venita did lay it out. Again, that whole conversation was whack, but you got to let her go and figure it out.
We've all been in a situation where you're much more into somebody than they are into you, and you make a lot of concessions along the way trying to convince yourself it's going to work out. I think that it would be pretty hypocritical of all of us to hold Sally to some standard that we all haven't been in that boat at some point or another.
Yeah. From R. Duncan 2292. Did y'all notice how Sally immediately became the tornado Craig was mentioning? She said that. She said he wants to see a tornado. I'll be a tornado.
Yeah, no. You don't get to do that.
Yeah.
You don't get to label her as, oh, Craig was right. She is doing this now because of Craig pushing her to that point. This is 100% warranted, and her saying, I'm going to show him a tornado. He deserves to see. He wants to call you that. Then fucking show up and be one. Who cares? I'm 100% on board with her going scorched earth. She deserves it. This is not proving Craig right at all. This is Craig has pushed her to this point, so he deserves what's coming.
From Vanez, do we think Sally still has the chickens, or were they just used to try and connect with Craig?
Like I said, I think she's going to enter this nurturing phase where it's like all about her. She's going to feel great. She's going to know what she wants moving forward, and then she's going to find the love of her life. And I think the chickens are going to be a big part of that. That's what I think.
From Claire Archibald, what did you think of Whitner's comments on Austin and Craig? Also, why isn't he a catch like Austin and Craig? I don't know why he's not a catch like Austin and Craig. It seems like he's got a pretty standard life living down there. Good looking dude, good family, couple acres down there.
Probably has a lot to do with...
he's probably not putting himself out there, to be honest.
I would say this has a lot to do with his... fiance leaving him. He's clearly not through those woods yet, which, it is what it is. He'll come out the other side. He seems like a good guy.
Yeah. And last one here from Caro Diaz 109. Any chance that Venita at some point had a crush on Craig and is hurt/mad he shut her down? Maybe. It's ancient history at this point. I'm still of the thinking that, like, and this could just be because we didn't get a whole lot of Venita scenes as it was. There was a point where Venita only filmed with Madison. She only filmed with some of the girls. She would do that sleepover thing.
They only showed us those scenes.
Yeah, we were only shown those scenes. And then all of a sudden she was hanging out with JT, and it's like, okay, I don't really want to see this either. I've never seen in her time on this show her hang out with the FaceTime with Austin was bizarre. That was just their hatred for Craig. She's never hung out with Craig, Austin, Shep, any of those guys just one-on-one where she's the only person there. I don't really think they were ever friends. I don't think that she should have been speaking on the Paige Craig thing because they're not really that close, but she spoke on it and Craig returned fire. I just don't think it's that deep ever.
No, not to get to this point where we're now ruining friendships over it.
Yeah.
And when your friend is sitting there in a puddle, you're going to throw lighter fluid in a match on her.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's it for questions.
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is we're in a really good place with this show. There's a lot of shit going on, a lot of stuff to dig into. I don't know where this goes. I have a sneaky suspicion this will be a Craig versus everybody.
Mhm.
And with Charley as what's that word? Collateral damage.
Yeah, I'm hoping because it's Charlie's first season. She does seem nice. She just made some
Seems really
terrible
nice. I
errors.
think this was a bad mistake.
Yeah. I hope she can somehow get her way out of it, and it's still Craig versus pretty much everyone else. Because I think as long as Austin's not leading that charge, if like you said, Madison's going to go
Madison
after
and
him.
Rod.
Yeah, if Madison and Rod can get after him, or at least like talk about him some more, we'll have to see what happens when Shep comes back. He's going to play that innocent bystander. If Austin's leading the charge, it's just going to be Craig and Austin, and everybody else is just going to kind of skirt out of the way.
And nothing will land.
Yeah.
Not that anything will land with anybody else, but
No.
we've seen that one. We don't
Yeah.
need to see that one again. I want something to come out of this. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's finally accountability. I don't know, because that's not going to happen.
No.
But like, I hope. I have confidence in Madison.
Yeah,
That's all
I
I'll
agree.
say. I have confidence in Madison. But yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, that's our show. Damn it. Broth Bros are out of here.